all over the world. That's what we are here to preach again. I hope I am coming out clear. I hope I am coming out clear. So, let's do it one more time. Let's do it one more time. It is very, very necessary. While you are joining us, share the video, invite others to join. Wherever you are joining us from, share the video, invite others to join. Very, very important. All right. Don't forget to click the like button as well while you are joining. There is a very important, topic we have to talk about. Let's see if I am audible enough. I want to see if I am audible enough for us to continue because I do not have my mic and I forgot to connect the Bluetooth to the speaker of the car. But that, by the way, I believe we will still do something. We can still do something. So let's find out if we are audible enough. Amalum Loan. Where are you watching from? Amalum Loan. You say our African corrupted heads of state, they all must resign, or we will force them to leave public office by force. That's a great one. That's a great one. That's the spirit of Africanity. That is the spirit of Africa. Our people are waking up from their slumber. So I guess I have to actually get my earphone. I have my speaker. I have to collect my speaker. I am not audible enough, right? I am not audible enough. Just one moment. Gonna collect my speaker. One moment. Let me collect my... Okay, we are going to improve the volume. I'm trying to improve the volume. Then we proceed. I am going to improve it right now. Then we proceed. Just one moment. Let's improve the volume. Then we proceed. Okay, yes, I see that we are having a very, very low volume. A very low volume, so we are going to correct it for us to proceed. In a better way. All right, I think I got my mic. Well,
you.
Okay. So that means we are still going to that's one moment. So I believe it is going to be better now. It is going to be better now. I am connected to the better volume. So let's see. Or maybe my listening device is not audible enough. Please confirm for me, are we coming out clear from your side? Are we clear from your side? Confirm for me from your side. So I believe it is going to be... Alright, I believe we are now. We are now. We are now coming out clear. So we are now coming out clear. Let's see. Let's do this. Please confirm for me, are we coming out clear from the side? Are we clear from the side? Confirm from the side. Okay. So I believe we are better now. Great and wonderful people of Biafra, great people of Africa, I greet you and welcome you to this program. While you are joining us, share the video, invite others to join. Wherever you are watching from, we are going to continue where we stopped the last time. So share the video. We are only on Facebook today. So we believe if Facebook will allow us. So I believe we are better now. And I am using a mobile network. I'm using a mobile network today. I hope it stays stable. So share the video. Of course, you saw the post, and the Niger Republic turned down ECOWAS order, and the mass recruitment of devotees began. What does that mean? It has been a while now when we are talking about the coup in Niger Republic, and there is important reason why we are talking about the coup in Niger Republic, because it is actually opening the eyes of the people for them to understand exactly what is going on, for them to know that the people they call their leaders, that there is somebody that is leading them from periphery. So that is exactly the reason why we are bringing it, because it is not unconnected to what we are grappling with in Nigeria, because Nigeria happened to be the lead of ECOWAS, the leader of ECOWAS, and that leadership from ECOWAS is actually what is driving this narrative. So we talked about the alignment and politics, geopolitics, how it is affecting our lives yesterday. So this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are watching from, or this evening, we are here once again. There is a news that is coming out from Niger Republic. And before we go to that news is about the recruitment of Niger citizens. Thousands or hundreds of them or thousands of them actually make themselves available to fight, to be recruited and to fight for their own nation, because this is me against the world. And exactly, in a situation whereby people decide to come out to be recruited, they were not forced. They are coming out in their numbers to be recruited to be ready to defend their motherland. And that's exactly what's going on in Niger Republic today. And we're going to bring you that news. And we are also bringing you the arrangement, the latest arrangement that took place because ECOWAS was engaging Niger Republic, and the result of such engagement is what we are going to bring to you, because there's such engagement, I believe and I know it didn't end, it never end with it's not ECOWAS friendly result that they actually, you know, got from such. The result ECOWAS got from Niger Republic junta, it is not the, it isn't the correct result that they are expecting. So I believe now, because they say they do not want to have a long and fruitless dialogue, so that's why I believe the military junta decided to go straight to the point. And they went straight to the point and they told ECOWAS what is their own, you know, decision. And the decision has been reached, so we are waiting for the response for the ECOWAS. But I am going to now show you what the decision looks like, and the, you know, the preparation and the contingency plans that are putting in place to make sure their land is safe. And secondly, we are talking about the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Of course, there is nothing we can do without talking about the release of Nnamdi Kanu. We must talk about the release of Nnamdi Kanu. We saw also a letter written to the appeal court. There was something I discussed a few days ago about the appeal court of Nigeria, how they are actually, their operational style, which actually, you know, enables them to go on recess for months. And going on recess for months, which jeopardize innocent people who are kept in custodies waiting for trial. And we understand that, I don't know if, I am not sure if there is any other place in the world where a particular court go for holidays. Please comment on the comment section if there is any other place in the world where court will close and say they are going for recess for like 2-3 months. Because I know, you know, my own understanding or the information that I have, I believe that the court judge, the judge will actually can go for sick leave. Not court going for recess for months, because it affects people who are actually waiting, who are on a waiting trial. It affects them negatively. So since in that the court, when they go on their recess, it takes 2 months, it takes 3 months. What about the people who are actually on a waiting trial, and these people happen to be innocent? Who is going to pay for the time they have spent in that jail or prison or on a waiting trial? Because it does not make sense. If a judge is sick, then that is another thing altogether. But there is no sick, judge is not sick. I don't know what type of system that is. But I believe it is a system that is specially made for Nigeria, for them to continuously to detain innocent people, because it is all about wasting the time of the people, whether innocent, whether guilty. Because nobody is guilty until until found guilty in the court of law. So in a situation whereby court will close for 3 months, 2 months, in the name that they are going on holiday or they are going on recess, it does not make sense. So, but that is by the way. That is by the way. We are actually, making a comment on that. We all saw the letter written to the court by Professor Michael Zokome. Let me check if I will be able to see that later. The letter he wrote to the court. But the content of the letter states that he is requesting for appeal court to start the, commence with the trial on the court date and not to delay any further, because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has been there, and the stay of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in the solitary confinement is arbitrarily. It is not born of it is not because he committed a crime. It is only because he is not loved by those in a position of power. That is the reason why they decided that they will leave him there, and they will be using delay strategy to keep him there. So, I believe that is the reason why Michael Zokome decided to write a letter to the judges who are presiding over this matter. So we have to go straight to the point. Let us go straight to the point. So we are calling on appeal court to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is being kept there by Malame and the previous administration. He is kept there by Malame and previous administration, and these people that actually kept Mazen Nnamdi Kanu there, against the order of the court, these people, they are all corrupt. And everybody could see, including the court and the judges, they could see the corruption charges against these individuals. We know that it is not against the man that was in Aso Rock, because the man that was in Aso Rock is gone. He's no longer there and can never come around, because he was an imposter. So that is the reason why it is very, very important for them to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, because those who placed him in a solitary confinement, they are nothing but, doing these things on their selfish interest. They are doing it for their selfish interest. That's what they are doing. So I don't believe that court will actually be able to entertain. I don't believe that court's supposed to entertain people treating somebody differently just because of the truth, just because the person is exercising their freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and their right to life. I don't think that a court will be prejudiced against anybody, because court is there to protect ordinary people from any form of intimidation or danger. That is the activities of the court. So that is the reason why we have seen exactly the effect of keeping Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in the solitary confinement. Criminals in Biafra land are using the opportunity to go out there to say that they are doing criminality because of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. So that is the reason why we are calling on appeal court, because if appeal court refuse to facilitate the release and finalize this shenanigan that was started by Attorney General Malami Emeritus and the President of Nigeria Emeritus in the likes of Buhari, or the imposter or double kanga of Buhari, it is very, very important that we remind appeal court that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has been set free by the same appeal court, not high court. The same appeal court set him free. The same appeal court issued an order that there is no court that has a jurisdiction to try the matter. Any court in Nigeria does not have a jurisdiction to try the matter again, because it is a matter that is not supposed to be tried in Nigeria, because Nigeria has no jurisdiction over this matter. So that is the reason why we are doing all we can to remind the Court of Appeal that we are actually tired of waiting for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to be treated differently, as if he's not a human being. He was held, and he is still held arbitrarily. Arbitrary detention. It is a detention born of self or personal vendetta that you have against somebody. It is not because of the crime that they have committed, or it is not because they have committed a crime, but it is because you don't like them, because they are exposing the activities of the executives, that the executive now exercise the power, or pull out the rank of executive to go all their ways to go and kidnap him in Kenya and rendition him back to Nigeria in order to place him on arbitrary detention. So even the court understood and noticed that the detention was on arbitrarily. That's why they struck out all the frivolous 15-count charges that is labeled against him. And at the end of the day, no court has right to try him. So we know that what is happening in the court, the same appeal court, it is about, delay strategy. But I believe that IPOB is a peaceful movement, peaceful organization that is well recognized all over the world. There is no place across the nation of the world that have seen IPOB to be a violent organization or a terrorist that Nigeria has labeled her. So that is the reason why we are standing on that note to call for appeal court to actually respect the order of appeal court. We are calling on appeal court to respect the verdict given by appeal court and release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in the upcoming court sitting. It is very, very necessary, because we are trying to curb the criminality in our land. Those who are using the name of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to commit their criminal activities, we are doing our best to try to curb that criminal element, so that we will know exactly what they are going to use as their excuse for doing what they are doing. And we know that the court is all about securing the life of innocent people, The court should be all about protecting the life of the majority of the nation. The court is all about protecting lives and properties. And of course, ever since these incidents took place, even the unknown militaries are coming into Biafra land to kill people, to burn houses belonging to people, because the well-orchestrated criminal element and activities of this criminal element, they are actually luring these criminal militaries, or this Asaredo Kubo and his criminal, will I call it terrorists in the military clothes, because he confirmed it in several occasions. Asaredo Kubo confirmed it that his criminal elements are actually in Biafra land in a military uniform. We saw, and he confirmed it, that he is burning the house of our people, and we have the evidence of that confession. We have the evidence of that confession, and we are standing upon that evidence to call on a court of appeal to obey their court order, to obey the order of the court given by the same court of appeal, so that we will assuage all these killings, we will assuage all this intimidation, we will stop all these criminal elements and their activities going on in Biafra land in the name that they want to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So that is exactly the reason why we are saying, if we notice or eventually we find out that the court did not release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, it could only mean, one thing, that the court is actually working with some criminal politicians, that the court is actually working with some politicians who does not want peace in the land of the Biafrans, or who does not want peace in the eastern region of Nigeria. And it means that they are deliberately doing that. They are deliberately constituting all that, nuisance, using some criminal rogue. Some of them are living in Europe, and they are constituting this nuisance, luring our people to die, luring young people that are unemployed, because anytime you have anything that will give the youth that are unemployed money, it is easy. An idle man is a devil's workshop. So because of the unemployment in our land, they are taking advantage of that, giving guns to the youth, giving guns to them to go and terrorize the land. In the name that they are terrorizing the land for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Hamadike, one of Biafra land, who is in a solitary confinement today because he is calling for the better deal for his people. So in this regard, if the Court of Appeal refused to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we will know that the judges there, they are actually part and parcel of the insecurity that is being done in our land. We will know. And they should know that the whole world is watching. I believe that if there is any award that is actually going to come from international communities, that is only if that is going to come from any international body, it will go to those previous judges that handle such cases, those learned judges who understood the importance of jurisdiction, those learned judges of appeal court who understood that Nigeria does not have jurisdiction to try this case, and which is proper, and it was actually within the constitution and within the law of Nigeria. So they did not do it in their own personal, in their own knowledge. They did it within the ambit of the law. They were protecting the law, and they were making sure that the law thrive in Nigeria. These are the type of judges that if you have those type of judges, you will feel safe going or walking into the courtroom, knowing that your right will be protected, knowing that the law will prevail. So these are the type of people we promote. These are the type of people we will make, we want within judicial community, because they discharge their duties without fear or favor. And we know very well they were ostracized after discharging such duties. But that is, by the way, it will not actually stop the celebration that we are celebrating these people, because it is the first time we actually, they made us to have a little bit of faith in that judiciary. These people gave hope that judiciary there are still judges that represent people, not representing money or the highest bidder in the justice system of Nigeria. So those people are worth celebrating. They are worth celebrating. And I believe it is very, very important that we look to know, we will actually make a research to know these people who gave that verdict, so that we will celebrate them. We will post their pictures and celebrate them. We will make sure that we celebrate them for the world to see that there is still, learned and people that work professionally in the position that they are placed within the judicial system in Nigeria. And I believe that that is the reason why, after the election or after the selection process that took place in Nigeria, you will understand that if not the judgment that was passed through these learned judges in Nigeria, I believe that people will never, wouldn't have believed in the judiciary when they deprived obedient to their mandate. People were going to protest. People were going to go out of their way to make sure that they reclaim their mandate. Maybe they will resort to civil disobedience or civil unrest to make sure that their mandate is given back to them. But because of those learned judges, they averted that, ordeal. They averted that, that violent civil disobedience and the protest that was going to result to bloodbath. And that is the reason why I believe that it is these learned judges that assuaged what supposed to take place in Nigeria after the election result was released. They gave people hope that judiciary still can work. So that's exactly what they did. And the same court, the same appeal court, we are waiting for them to tell us that there is still hope within judicial system in Nigeria. We are waiting for them to show us that as much as executive is corrupted, that the three arms of government, at least one of them will be the hope of ordinary people in Nigeria. And that is exactly what we are expecting from Appeal Court of Nigeria. And we hope they will not disappoint us in this upcoming court sitting. We hope that they will understand that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's detention is arbitrarily and must be released as soon as possible. His right has been violated left, right, and center. So if he is not released, I believe that people will be losing faith in judiciary. And we will know that those judges that was replaced, we will know that those new judges that was invited to replace the previous judges that gave verdict on this case, they are not judges, but they are the executive stooge. They are actually, killing the independency of judiciary. And they are undermining the judicial process and promoting the executive. And when executive is over-promoted and judicial process is undermined, that means the loopholes is coming out of judiciary, while the executive will be actually carrying themselves as omnipotent. And that is the reason why, for them not to carry themselves as omnipotent, that is the reason why there is three arms that are independent of each other. But when one arm of government decide to control the other, it means that the other arms of government, they are undermining their capability to stay in the position and cover their wings. So we are calling on the judiciary, the Appeal Court of Nigeria, to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in the upcoming, because we know they can actually, hear the case and deliver judgment. It is possible. It is a decision that is being taken, that can be taken by judges. They can hear the case, they can deliver judgment. Because if there is any investigation that needs to be conducted, the case is not complicated at all. Because it has been there for 2 years. It is not complicated. The judgment has been passed. It is all about to find out if there is any foul play on the judgment given. And the learned judges will understand the importance of jurisdiction. And we are going to actually stay on that to continue the call for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu release in the upcoming court sittings. And this is where I am going to leave it, as we move on to the next topic that we have, because I believe that we are already 33 minutes or 44 minutes into this program. So if you are joining us, share the video, invite others to join. The reason why we had to take this one first, it is because whoever that is going to come to join this program, they will hear it first, because it is very, very important. Now we are going to go to what is happening in and around Africa. And we are focusing on Niger Republic. What is going on in Niger Republic? And that is exactly the news we are bringing. Of course, yesterday when we were doing a broadcast, we actually made it clear that the ECOWAS is engaging with the junta, the military coup leader in Niger Republic. And that engagement, they say they don't want to have a long engagement or fruitless engagement. Now they want to make it short. And then immediately when they engaged, the junta, military junta, decided to make it easy for them. And he delivered to them their stance. And what is that stance he delivered to them? Let us find out. We're going to read it out to see exactly the response of the military junta. And after the response, what became the next phase And we are also going to, and of course, I have not extracted the response from ECOWAS, but we know what their response is. But let me read from BBC. Let me read from BBC because they are very, very, interesting in that, regard. Let us read. Niger coup leader General Tichiani promises to hand over power. Niger coup leader General Tichiani promises to hand over powers. He promised ECOWAS that he will hand over power only in 3 years. He will only hand over power only in 3 years. Niger coup leader has promised to return the West African nations to civilian rule within 3 years. General Abdurrahmani Tichiani made the announcement after meeting mediator from the West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, in the capital, Niamey. ECOWAS has threatened military action to reverse last month's overthrow of President Mohamed Bazoum if talk fails. The junta head said that Niger did not want a war, but will defend itself against any foreign intervention. If any attack were to be undertaken against us, it will not be walk in the park. Some people seem to think he warned in his televised address on Saturday evening. General Tichiani also reiterated criticism of what called the illegal and inhuman sanction imposed by ECOWAS on the landlocked country. This has included cutting electricity, resulting in blackout in Niamey and other major cities, as well as blocking crucial imports. Lorry drivers have been stuck for weeks waiting to bring in supplies, forcing up food prices. Okay, this is what they are doing to Niger Republic. Sanctions are not conceived with the aim of finding a solution, but to bring us to our knees and humiliate us. General Tichiani, I agree with him. I agree with him. You cannot say you are going in for a negotiation. You are going in for a peaceful, resolution, and you impose sanctions that people are now staying in the dark. You impose sanctions that people are no longer having food supply. So I agree with that. Let us continue. Thousands of men came to a stadium in Niamey on Saturday to register for volunteer force in case of invasion. Have you seen the solidarity? Have you seen the solidarity? Let me see if I can show you the picture of these thousands of people. Now I will show you the picture in the next piece, which talked about that recruitment. So although overcrowding prevented the registration process starting, the Reuters news agency's report, regional efforts to reverse the coup have been backed by the US and France. Regional efforts to reverse the coup have been backed by US and France. So, the process is being sponsored by US and France. The ECOWAS is being driven by the interest of US and France, the exploiters of the Niger uranium, among other resources, and the exploiters of Biafra oil that the pipeline passed through Niger Republic. That is exactly the interest that is actually driving ECOWAS to go out all for military intervention to make sure that they protect the interests of the West while killing their own people and themselves. That is exactly what we are seeing here. Regional efforts to reverse the coup have been backed up by the US and France, which both have military bases in Niger Republic. These bases are part of efforts to tackle jihadist groups in the wider Sahel region. How many of them has been tackled? How many of these jihadist group has been tackled in the wider Sahel region? Does it mean that the military bases that they have, established in the wider Sahel region are there? They have made that place their home. Because if they say they are going to tackle the jihadists, it means that they're supposed to have tackled the jihadist activities, that it will not have no more life in that area. But the jihadist activities is still well and functional in those areas. So does it mean that the military's base of France and the US are just there to protect something else, not actually to stop jihadism? They are there to protect some interest in the name that they are there to protect them from jihad and the terrorist activities. Because the last time we checked, the terrorists still killed 17 military soldiers in that area, in that region. So what exactly are they there to do? Because if I will understand it to you, if in fact, sentiment aside, these US militaries, they have the most sophisticated weapons and artilleries that will stop the terrorist activities in the West African Sahel region within 24 hours to 48 hours. So why are they not stopped? Why do they have to have the military bases in those areas? And these military bases are not planning to leave anytime soon. They are not planning to stop the terrorism. They are just there grooming this terrorism, because that's exactly what it looks like. Because the terrorist is actually getting more power every day by day. They are not being tackled. They are not being killed. They are not being stopped. They are being groomed. So how can US military, France military, be in this ECOWAS region, in Sahel region? The last time I checked, these are the most sophisticated military intelligence and the most sophisticated military equipped personnel in the world. They could not even stop the terrorism. Rather, the terrorists are there making sure that they ravage the communities, displace them, and kill people. So what are they doing in those areas? So they have made it their own home. Are they there to protect the uranium? Are they there to protect the oil pipe that is coming from Warri? So what exactly are they doing there? It is a very, very important question that we need to continue to ask them. Does it mean that the US military are not sophisticated the way they portray it to be? Does it mean that all this uranium that the French is taking from Niger Republic, is not enough to equip the military that have placed there in the name that they are fighting the jihadist group? So let us continue to read. They seem ignorant to the fact that it is in large part and valor of the defense and security forces of Niger that Niger has remained a barrier preventing terrorists. It is not actually my word in that Sahel region, not French or military is doing the fight. Now the mirrors similar recent takeover in the neighboring Burkina Faso and Mali, and the influence of Russia in the wider Sahel region is also growing. Tiziani would be decided within. General Tiziani did not 30 days at a dialogue commented on the announcement, except who has been in detention with his wife and son. Their delegation, remember, and now ECOWAS, they have met with Bazoum, which is also a good move. This is actually people fighting for their freedom. You know, the trajectories in which this is going is an evidence and a true indication that these people are really fighting for their freedom. They are not playing. Their delegation was led by former Nigerian military leader, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, and also included Nigeria's most senior Muslim leader, the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saadu Abubakar. Abubakar III. Those are the people who went for the negotiation. Okay. I reserve my comment. He wield huge influence in Niger, part of which used to be in the Sokoto Caliphate. Part of which used to be in the Sokoto Caliphate, a powerful kingdom before colonial rule. That means somehow the people in the northern Nigeria are also fighting for their freedom. Are you understanding the trajectories? The people in the northern Nigeria are also fighting for their freedom indirectly, and this is their only chance that they could use to fight for their freedom, because they are not free. The menace of terrorist attack in that region, they are on the receiving end of it. Most of their states are no-go area because ISWAP, Islamic State in West Africa, they are there killing them, taking them away from their communities, sending them to IDPs. Boko Haram, they are there taking them away to the IDPs and ransacking communities and doing ethnic cleansing in that region. So that is exactly what is going on. We know that the Niger Republic fight is also the northern Nigeria fight. And we know that very well. And that is exactly what we are, the reason why we are following this coup. Because we know that the northern Nigeria, they are looking for a way possible for them to be free from the shackle of Nigeria colonizers, because they are feeling the heat. In the past 10 years, they have been feeling the heat of this terrorism, and in the past 10 years, they are dying in the hands of these terrorists in that Sahel region. So I believe that it is their opportunity to make sure they join force with their own counterpart, which are under Sokoto Caliphate, pre-colonial rule, to fight for their freedom. I hope you are understanding what is going on here. They were under Sokoto Caliphate pre-colonial rule. So they know that post-colonial rule destroyed a lot of, brotherhood. Post-colonial rule, amid colonial rule, it displaced people and segregated brotherhoods and joined force enemies in order to bring economic sabotage and stunted growth to the economy of that region called Nigeria. And that is exactly what you have seen today. If not this, many of us will not know that Niger Republic, part of them are under Sokoto Caliphate. They call it the greatest kingdom in that region. And that is exactly what I believe they are trying to restore back. And we are not against them. This is a self-determination, and they have their right to self-determination. We are not going to be prejudiced against their self-determination. But what we are not, going to, tolerate is that then they are fighting for their own self-determination while trying to plunge our own self-determination. That is exactly what we are not going to tolerate. Because we know very well, and I told you from the inception of this coup, that this coup has everything to do with the imposter that was in Aso Rock. It has everything to do with the imposter that was in Aso Rock. And so many of you did not believe it. And the only reason why the president of Nigeria that we see today is fighting tooth and nail to make sure that they restore democracy in that region, it is not because he wants to go to war. It is because the West is pushing him, and because he knows that there is a leverage against him from the Western countries. That is the reason why he is actually placed there. And that is the reason why he is called to embark on this journey that he has embarked upon. So that is the reason why he is embarking on this journey that he has embarked upon. So we know very well, we know what is driving all this shenanigans, and we know the reason why the Nigeria president is trying to do what he's doing. We know that Tinubu, we know, joke apart, Tinubu is a very, very intelligent man. Tinubu is a very, very streetwise person. And we know very well that on a normal circumstances, Tinubu will not, want to engage in this type of situation. But his hands are tied. When you dine with the enemy, when the enemy are the ones who sponsor what, gives you power, when the people, when you decide to align with the superior forces, just like Afonja did, and the Yoruba race lost the Ilorin, the same thing that Tinubu is doing today, trying to align himself with the Western superior power in order to destabilize his own region, just because for the sake of being in the position of leadership. We know that that position is actually, it is a position that every greedy person, that anybody that doesn't have interest of the people at heart want to occupy. We know very well, but in a situation whereby we have seen that the driving factor of this, coup is connected, is actually, connected to the people whom we call Nigerians, and then the person who is used to drive the violent means of solving the situation, which is they deem it to be a solution to solve the situation, is going to come from Nigeria as well. It is an irony, because if the Sokoto Caliphate is trying to restore their kingdom, if the Sokoto Caliphate is trying to bring back their, ancestral origin, ancestral kingdom, we're not going to be prejudiced against them. And we have seen that it is the reason why there was an imposter in Aso Rock for complete 5 years, or 4 years rather. Was it 4? Yeah, complete 5 years. There was an imposter in Aso Rock for complete 5 years. And they made a lot of money out of Nigeria. During the time of the imposter, that is the reason why you saw cars. How many vehicles was bought for Niger Republic? How many vehicles? There was I think more than, is it 64 or 164? You can actually, if you know the number, you can write it in the comment section so that the world will know that we are talking something that is actually, we are talking something that exists, that is accurate. That is the reason why under the imposter regime, vehicle was given to Niger Republic. Under the imposter regime, railway was built from that region of northern Nigeria to Niger Republic. Why do you think all this infrastructure, the money that was spent to build railway from northern Nigeria to Niger Republic, why do you think such thing took place? It is all making sense today. Because we know, and we are very much aware that the northern people, they are very, very intelligent people. When it comes to politics, they are very good in politics. They might not be good at business, but they are good in politics. And that is what they have used to keep Nigeria on the palm of their hands in the last 6 decades. They have used that type of politics to put Nigeria on the palm of their hands in the last 6 decades. Today, they have seen that this type of thing that is making Nigeria to be one, it is actually something that has never favored their own people. Rather, their own people is as much as being marginalized. Their own people are dying in the hands of terrorists. Their own people are dying in the hands of Islamic State. So finding a way to solve this conundrum they have put themselves into, trying to please the master. Trying to please the master. Finding a way to resolve this conundrum, trying to please the master in the last 6 decades. They had to do it indirectly. And then I know it is the superior principle to deal with the current principle and the current status quo that we have seen in Nigeria. Because the plan has been not for the power to go into the hands of anybody from the south. The plan has been for the power to remain in the north. Had it been that power went into the hands of a northern person, it's either they started with declaration of Islamic State, which is still imminent, which is still not averted, which is still inevitable. Now, they were going to use through that Islamic State saga to actually achieve their goals in actually taking full control of Nigeria and removing the colonial rules in their own terms. So having seen that the power eventually went in the hands of the South, and now it is now making sense that the people who actually, they're the people who give power to anybody in Nigeria in the presidency, it is coming from the colonial rule. It is coming from the West. It is not coming from the people of Nigeria. Let me clarify that, because they have discovered that if this power happened to go back to the north, that Islamic State will be declared. And through this Islamic State, you are not going to, when Islamic State is declared, the restoration of the kingdom of Sokoto Caliphate is going to come back. And then from that Islamic State declaration, you are going to see the full control of Nigeria, and you will see Iran helping them. Because if you find out, you will understand that the imposter in Aso Rock strengthened the relationship between Nigeria and Iran. Hello? I hope you are understanding it. They strengthened the relationship between Nigeria and Iran. So the plan was to declare Islamic State backed up by some Iranian nation, and even maybe Turkey might be part of it, part of the agenda. That is the reason why when power shifted and went to Bola Tinubu, because the arrangement was that it is going to be turn of Bola Tinubu, because the plan was that they were going to achieve their, they were going to fulfill their plans before 2023. But the only thing that assuaged that plan was Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's exposition. So let's give it to him, including those in Yoruba land. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's exposition made Tinubu even to buckle his seatbelt to make sure he sees this power. Because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's exposition opened the eyes of all of them so that they may see the plans of these people. Because the plan was to take over control of Nigeria and even remove the colonial rule. They don't want actually to continue with the colonial rules. They want to remove the colonial rules. That's something people don't understand, because these people, they have their secrecy. The most important part of Islamic, culture is secrecy. They are very secretive. That's why you will never understand what they are doing except if you are part of their cabals. They were going to be free, but the plan was to be in charge of the whole region of Nigeria, at the expense of the whole region of Nigeria, for them to remove the colonial rules. But now, the reason why they could not succeed, it is because they have killed our people in the past. When we try to remove ourselves from this colonial rule, karma is always at the doorstep of every, situation like this. Karma is on the doorstep of every situation like this. And that is exactly what is taking place right now. Had it been they allowed they allowed Biafra to go in 1967, for them to break free from colonial rules today, it is very easy. Because Biafra must have actually, rooted their ground. And we were going to give all of them support, because we are Pan-African. But the only thing we don't want is placing us amongst people who does not like each other, and we are forcing the relationship to take place when it is impossible. So that's the only reason why we are fighting to succeed from that colonial colonial structure called Nigeria. We were going to help them. We were going to actually assist them, because by now we would have been a strong nation, both industrialization, both in military. We were supposed to be a very strong nation. They didn't need to suffer that. We were going to give them free of charge help to stand their ground, because, collective success is what we are preaching. If the whole of Sahel region have a collective success
of actually deposing or the colonial rule, or dumping the colonial rules and reintegrating pre-colonial rule back to the pre-colonial rule and the ways of life. It was going to be the most beautiful thing that ever happened in such region. But they decided to dance the dance of the colonizers. And now it comes to the point where they want to use the back door to escape this. We're not going to sabotage them, because we understand how important it is to escape this imperialism. We know how important it is for us to make sure that this power of neocolonialism does not find its feet in our various places and locations in Nigeria. That's why we are also we're not going to be prejudiced against them. But the most important thing that you need to understand is that the reason why they could not tell you that Buhari died in 2017, it was because how many vehicles? 1.14 billion naira vehicle purchased for Niger Republic. 10 by number. 1.14 billion naira vehicle purchased for Niger Republic. Are you now seeing it? The confirmation is here. They spent that money under the regime of an imposter who was a body double or doppelganger of Buhari, dead Buhari. They made sure they saved money for this exercise that is taking place today. When Buhari was giving you the hint, if he does not retire in Daura, he will retire in Niger Republic, where he come from. So many of you doubted when we do the analysis on that. What it simply means to retire in Daura or retire in Niger Republic. We told you, so many of you were in the comment section doubting it. But this is exactly what is going on. For you to understand, it is now clear that Niger Republic was under Sokoto Caliphate. Have you now seen that nobody is a Nigeria? Nobody is Nigerian. Nobody is Niger area. Nobody is from Niger Republic. They divided people who are of like minds, which is for people from Niger Republic, and brought them to the people of northern Nigeria. They were one. They were one under Sokoto Caliphate, and they were doing great as a nation. They decided to divide them and segregate them from these people, their own people. And they decided to bring amalgamation of the West and the East to the North, and give power and control to the northern Nigeria, while carving them out of the people whom they have like minds and whom they will thrive with when they are together. That is the post or the colonial, initiative. Because they know that if the northern Nigeria were to partner or were to brother with Niger Republic, they were going to do great as a nation. Because these are the same people. These are the same people of the same origin. But they carved them out, divided them. They carved this Sokoto Caliphate towards this, Nigeria, and call it Nigeria. And they decided to say, which we have carved the Niger Republic out. It is a very small country which they are able to manipulate, take everything that is coming out of their soil, and it is called a landlocked country. It is a landlocked country. So carving them out will not give those Niger Republic a lot of choices than to dance to the tune of the colonial rule. They carved them out, gave it to the France, while they carved the Sokoto in and called them Nigeria, joined with the West, joined with the East, called them Nigeria, knowing that the West and the North, they have nothing in common. Knowing that the North and the East, they have nothing in common. Knowing that the West and the East, they might have something in common, but they cannot, they have this competition mindset that always divide them. So they brought them together. And the advice they gave to the northern Nigeria for carving out the Niger Republic that was under Sokoto Caliphate was that we are going to solve your budget deficit with the oil and the resources coming out of the eastern region of that area that they have called Nigeria today. That was the promise they gave to the North. And we are going to give you to be in charge of the army and the police so that you will have access to control all these things. But under who is it benefiting today more? Who is in benefit of all that today? Is it not the West? And who is actually paying for the crime? Is it not the North? The North is actually being killed every day on a daily basis. If not by the Fulani terrorists, it is by Boko Haram, who they claim they don't want Western education, who they claim they are nomadic people, whom, there is always something to use to prepare the minds of these people, terrorists, in order to come and keep even the northern people in check. And that's what they've been doing in the last how many years? They've been keeping them in check in more than a decade now, because they have understood what the plans of this northern Nigeria is like. Remember that these people are the ones who, remember that they have their intelligence all over the place. They have their intelligence all over the place. And the reason why they made sure that Gowon did not agree with the Aburi Accord agreement with Ojukwu, because they know that if the East is actually, if Nigeria is become a confederation, if they make Nigeria a confederation, that at some point, when the East is in charge of their resources, that means the North will start looking for any other alternative to activate their own resources to work for them. Remember, the North might even now remember that their brother is in Niger Republic, and the resources that is being exploited in Niger Republic is supposed to be part of the North. Northern resources. So they notice now, if the East, if Nigeria is called a confederation, the North is on, the West is on their own, the East is on their own, managing their resources, they will decide to align with whomever they want to align with. And if they align with whomever they want to align with, no longer on a symbiotic relationship with any Western colonizer or colonial rule, but they will form a beneficial relationship that is gazetted under their foreign policy. So they will form these alliances that will enable them to thrive as a nation or as a region that is under the contraption called Nigeria. So they know that it will give them right to, economic growth and stability. So that is the only thing, that was the only thing that Britain did not want. The northern Nigeria believed that Britain was doing this thing in their favor. They believed that everything that Britain advised them, that it was all about helping the North to solve their budget deficit, because that was the arrangement that actually pushed for the amalgamation, helping the North to solve their budget deficit and making North believe that there is no resources coming from the North when there is a lot of them in Niger Republic, when there is a lot of them in the northern Nigeria: gold, californium, uranium, and even timber in the north. There is a lot of them in the north. But the northern Nigeria has been under the influence that there has never been a good resources. They have been under the, not influence rather, they've been under the impression that they have no resources until they discovered the one they discovered. And before they were able to discover it, Boko Haram have already taken over the place. They were under the, impression that they had nothing to survive if they allowed the East to go. Likewise, the Western Nigeria believe that they cannot survive if they allow the East to go. Have you seen the irony of what actually, protracted the war in 1967? It was a protracted war because we, black people, we are always being used against one another by the Western oligarchy, because we are always been believing that things of the West are the truthful promises. When they come, they make you promises. They tell you this is how it is, without you knowing that it can never be the way they tell you. They are now making you to believe that it is. Remember that the reason why they created Jesus to be white today was for you to believe that everything that is coming from a white guy is nothing but the truth. For you to believe that the white guy cannot make mistake. For you to believe that a white man can never commit a sin. For you to believe that a white man can never commit a crime. And we believed it. We believed it. We cannot lie about it. Any of you cannot lie about it. And so many of our people still believe it, that white man does not commit crime. We believe that. And that is the reason why those stooges they have placed amongst us, they are being used to segregate. They are being used to exploit. They are being used to kill, to reduce number reduction, ethnic cleansing. They are being used to impoverish, because they believe that any advice given by a white man is authentic. They never believed in their own intelligence. They never believed that what a white man can do, that they can do it better. They never believe in themselves. And it is a projection of the colonial rule to make you not to believe in yourself, to make you never to trust in yourself, to make you to continuously have animosity amongst yourself. And to make it worse, they bring people of different mindset and place them together and they call them one nation, and they tell you that your diversity is your strength. And in your national anthem, Arise, O compatriots, Arise, O compatriots, we promote peace and unity. Every year we promote peace and unity, but there can never be peace and unity, because these are the people historically, they had never worked together, they have never been together, but they might come in the market, they will actually sell their goods together to each other and go their separate ways. But when it comes to for them to now navigate their diversity under one leadership, under one nation, it is something that is going to bring a bloodbath, because none of them believe in each other. That is the reason why we are saying that, the the unity of Africa will only come if every colonial structure is uprooted. Because when the colonial structure is uprooted, that means people are going to go back to their ancestral origin. People are going to go back to become, you know, what they were before the colonial masters came, which enable us to relay in the center of the business. We can have one currency, it is okay. We can have a central government or governance, it is okay. But people of like mind must be called their own, must be called the nation. And it is not possible to unite people that does not have like mind under one umbrella called Africa. It is going to be actually planning to fail. It is not planning to win. It is planning to fail. Trying to unite people with no like minds. Trying to reunite people that are religious bigots. Because it has been religion that they will use to divide us. But when you understand that religion damage, the damage of religion on our people will never enable them to have like minds. That is when you will realize that unification of Africa is only about having a central, government like European Union have, like Europe have, European Union. Every nation have their own territorial integrity. And they are all fall under European Union. That is the only African unity we are able to achieve. We can use one currency. We can use one currency, have a free trade zone, open border policy, build a railway connecting every border, making sure we can actually, put surveillance so that there will be no terrorist activities. That's the only way we can work together. If there is any other way other than this way, I don't think it is going to work, because having seen that we have experienced this forceful amalgamation, what it did to us, it is still the reason why our people are dying in Mediterranean Sea today. It is still the reason why our people are dying in Sahara Desert today. It is still the reason why all our talent are in the United States today, Europe today. All our talents are in China today. We don't have them back home because of who is going to, it is about me. It is about my family. It is about my tribe. It is about my this. It is about my that. It can never go away. But when you go to, people go to their tribes, be with your tribe. As long as we have one umbrella called African Union, we revolutionize African Union and we empower them. We have a central or reserve bank of Africa where we can access. We have a Bank of Africa where we can take loans. Just like they have World Bank and IMF. We have our own. That is the unity of Africa. And that is the reason why we continue to preach the disintegration of every structure of colonial rule that enables them to use people among us to destroy us, to destabilize our plans. So now, coming back to what we were saying, the northern Nigeria are well aware. They have discovered and made peace from the 5 years the imposter was in Aso Rock. They have made alliances with their other nation like Iran, which is going to support them in a situation whereby they are being intimidated. by be it ECOWAS, be it any other person, Iran will be present in that war. That is something people does not understand yet. Iran is going to be present in that war. If they are not present, their drones and their military gadgets are going to be present in that war. Because the alliance they made was all about conquering and using the Islamic State to conquer. And 99.2% of the people in Niger Republic, they are all Muslim. There are no Christian there. So 0.8% is a Christian. So they don't even form anything. They cannot vote because they don't have the number. If Niger Republic, they have 10,000 citizens or 10,000 people in Niger Republic, it means that I will say that 800 people maybe are Christian and 9,200 people are Islam. So in the northern Nigeria, we know that the majority is Islam and minority is Christian. So that has been causing a problem inside the north. They call it Christian Islam problem. And we know very well that the Sharia law, there has been a push to have a Sharia law across the northern Nigeria. And we know that Sharia law is somewhere in the path of northern Nigeria, which was also brought up during the time of Obasanjo, and he gave them the green light. So for us to understand that the people of Niger Republic are the same people in the northern Nigeria. So you believe that you will go, wherever you are, when you are fighting Niger Republic, you are fighting northern Nigeria. That is exactly what it means. That is the reason why they have to. Do you know the reason why? I hope you remember what I read here. Yesterday broadcast, you heard that they did not allow the delegate from the US to see Bazoum. Do you know why? Because they are tired of the Western control. They did not allow the delegate from US to see Bazoum. But yesterday, they allowed the delegate coming from the northern Nigeria, that are the delegates, to go and negotiate the peaceful resolution. They allowed them to see Bazoum, which is led by Abdulsalami Abubakar. Listen to those people who get the relegation. Their delegation was led by former Nigerian military leader, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, and also included Nigeria's most senior Muslim leader, the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saadu Abubakar III. He wielded huge influence in Niger, part of which used to be in the Sokoto Caliphate, a powerful kingdom before colonial rule. Saturday's meeting was the first between leaders of the junta and ECOWAS. What does that tell you? It simply means that the new era the era of colonialism is gone. People are realizing where their own remnant are scattered. People are unifying with their remnant, with their people whom they were segregated from them. So people are reuniting. Why is it all this particular set of people, delegation that was allowed to come? Because they are the same people. They have the same goal. They have the same plan. And in this regard, you can never or you may never go contrary to their plan, because they are planning it together. Yes. I'll call you back. I am on a program right now. All right. So, they are the people, they have the same culture. They have the like minds. They understand each other more than they even northern Nigeria understand the Yoruba, more than northern Nigeria understand the Igbos. These people, they understand each other and they can work together. Since they have discovered they have a resources that even more essential than the oil coming out from Biafra land, because the oil coming out from Biafra land is going to expire. When the Europeans do away with or stop the manufacturing or production of carbon emission engines in any ramification, what does that do to the oil sale? What does it do to the oil sale? The oil sale is no longer going to be significant, because the crude oil sale is almost all about, it is only the natural gas that might still be, something that is in the high demand. But all this oil, it is no longer going to be in high demand. So they understand that there is californium, there is gold, there is uranium in these areas. If they unite it with the ones they have in the north, it is enough to give the northern Nigeria and the Niger Republic everything that they want. And they will now become one body and drive their economic growth and stability and help to fight against this agenda of this in Nigeria. I don't believe that they were working together. That's why secret is of no match with any. Ready to go. So bye-bye. So it has no match with the northern, Nigeria. What the northern Nigeria secrecy, it is the Britain believe that having the imposter in Aso Rock in order to use them to control what's going on, that it will eventually work in their favor. But at the end of the day, they have discovered that no, there is something that we missed. That's why they decided to make sure that it is Tinubu that goes into the position of power, not Abubakar Atiku. Not Abubakar Atiku. Because if it was Abubakar Atiku, believe you me, it is going to be a different ball game altogether. So for you to know exactly what is going on, for you to understand that there is, this thing that is a game that is being played, that a lame man will never understand the game. It is a game of chase. That the only people who understand the game are the masters. It is the masters that will understand the game. It is a game of chess that is only understood by the master. So the game, the northern Nigeria, they understand the game and they are playing it. And I know and I believe they are going to win, because they actually know how to keep their secret. They know how to drive their plan. They know how to drive their agenda. And they have the support from Arab nations. They have their support. So for you to know that it is not a business as usual. It is no longer a business as usual. It is now a business unusual. Let me show you the number of people that showed up when, as they plan to actually take over, their country. People who showed up for recruitment, that want to be recruited to defend their country in Niger Republic. I am going to show you the number of people. Move that side. The number of people that actually showed up, for you to know that everybody is actually ready for this. The training is ongoing. The training is ongoing. I am going to read it out. You might not be able to see it properly, but the training is ongoing. Let us maybe I think we can hear from them. One moment.
To commit myself to Niger. Long live Niger. I've heard that they need 5,000 or 10,000 volunteer soldiers. That's why I came here.
One moment.
Young people chanted in favor of the junta and against ECOWAS and the country's former colonial ruler, France. Some parents brought their children to sign up. Others said they'd been waiting since 3 a.m.
Parents brought their children to sign up, but they say they want to go and restore democracy.
We're waiting for you, young volunteers.
This is not about parents saying, no, we don't want our children to go and die. This is the resilience of these people.
We're waiting for you.
Both male and female. Listen to it.
Main stadium in Niamey on Saturday, responding to the call for civilian auxiliaries in support of the armed forces. The event organizer claimed the junta was not involved in this initiative. Regional countries threatened the Nigerian junta of a possible military intervention. I wanted to be a soldier for the love of my country.
Did you see that?
Niger is our country. I love it. I want to commit myself to Niger. Long live Niger. I've heard that they need 5,000 or 10,000 volunteer soldiers. That's why I came here.
Okay.
Young people chanted in favor of the junta and against ECOWAS and the country's former colonial ruler, France. Some parents brought their children to sign up. Others said they'd been waiting since 3 a.m. to answer a call from several organizations. I'm a military mother. We're waiting for you, young volunteers. From now until tomorrow. That's what I had to say. Wallah.
Wallah.
We're waiting for you. I hope you'll get us out of all these difficulties. I'm a military mother.
This is a revolution. I'm going to read the news. This is a revolution that you cannot interrupt. To interrupt such revolution is a suicide. I'm telling you. It is a revolution. And a very, very strategic one. Because the reason why you will know that it's a revolution, parents even brought out their children in order to join the forces, to protect their land, to ready them to protect their land. It is a serious revolution. It is not a child play. At all. It is not a child play. Let me read the news to see if there is any more information that I'm going to actually extract from it with regards to the activities of the northern Nigeria. It is actually the next investigation where I'm going into to understand the relationship. Now, let's read. 1,000 killed to volunteer in armed forces as threat of looms. Thousands of people lined up outside the main stadium in Niamey on Saturday, August 19, responding to the call for civilian auxiliary in support of armed forces. Welcome back. I think my mobile data, the router is actually getting, is dying. So I had to, charge it. So let us continue. Regional countries have threatened the Nigerian junta a possible military intervention. I want to be a soldier for the love of my country. What's more, Niger is our country. I want to commit myself to Niger. Long live Niger, Mamodu exclaimed. I have heard that the need for 5,000 to 10,000. They have that there is a need for 5,000 to 10,000 volunteer soldiers. That's why I came here. Abdoulaye, who is a footballer, said, a footballer, even came to defend their land. It is Ohazuluku. It is the national problem. It is not a military problem. That is exactly what they don't know. Now, after seeing all that, we will see this, the response of ECOWAS. Some parents brought their children to sign up. Others said they've been waiting since 3 a.m. to answer a call from several organizations. Young people chanted in favor of junta and against ECOWAS and country's former colonial rulers, France. The initiative, spearheaded by a group of locals in Niamey, aimed to recruit tens of thousands of volunteers from across the country to register for the volunteer for the defense of Niger Republic. The group will assist with medical care, and provide technical and engineering logistics among functions in case the junta need help, according to the Amsoro Bako, one of the founders who spoke with the Associate Press Tuesday, August 8. I am a military mother. We are waiting for you, young volunteers. We are waiting for you, young volunteers, from now until tomorrow. That's what I had to say. Wallahi, Wa'ala, we are waiting for you. I hope you will get us out of all these difficulties. An activist who was not named told sharing crowds. ECOWAS envoy landed in Niger Saturday, August 19, to try to pursue further dialogue with the junta. The delegation includes former Nigerian military head of state Abdulsalami Abubakar, according to the Nigerian ruling CNSP's communication office. Abubakar had already visited Niamey as a representative of ECOWAS on August 3rd, but couldn't meet the nation's new strongman, Abdurrahmani Tishiani, nor the post-president Muhammad Bazoum. ECOWAS Commissioner for Political Affairs and Security insisted Friday, August 18th, they were ready to send standby forces should negotiation fail. So they have to send the standby forces because the negotiation had failed. They said that they will only bring a power transition in the next 3 years. That they are not ready to concede. They are not ready to give up. That it will take them 3 years. And we believe that for them to build a good ground so that anybody that they will put in the position of power will know how they will govern without the Western excesses and without the Western interference. That is exactly the reason why they have taking it upon themselves to be in the position of power for 3 years. And any other thing that will be decided will come in a later stage. That is exactly what they have agreed upon. And I know that there will be no going back in this regard. There will be no going back in such a regard. So, it is very, very important for us to understand that, especially the Biafrans also, the Biafrans, they need to understand that the Biafra is the last miracle. And the many things that is going to bring that miracle is actually going to, occur. Is actually going to, take place. It is actually coming together.